Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Williams, and what you just saw was a very rough animation that I drew a little earlier today actually, and it was just to show off a little bit of what my animation software can do right now. I'm writing a piece of animation software called Project Morph. Well, it's called Morph, but the title is not final, and it's in a sort of alpha stage right now. So if you watched the previous video, you can probably notice that the UI has undergone quite a dramatic change. One of the most notable changes is the change from a light theme to a dark theme, and I thought about this for a little while because I do really enjoy light theme applications. When I code on Visual Studio, it tends to be on the light theme mode rather than the dark theme or the blue theme, but I prefer the light theme than the blue theme and the dark theme. And I don't know, it's just a preference, just a personal preference. And but I did decide for the time being I'm gonna go for a dark theme only because one argument is when it comes to videography or cinematic sort of services, products, or software, you do tend to get dark themes quite a bit with them, and it just seems quite fitting to target a dark theme rather than a light theme overall in general. And I quite liked it. I had to play with the palette a little bit. I kind of went for secondary colors in general, but then yeah, I did settle for a dark theme for now. Now the UI is not final, and I'm recording off my monitor, but where I do my animations, initially I was using my tablet laptop, but the screen resolution of the laptop is smaller than the full screen of the app. So I've basically developed this app to support full HD displays in terms of pixel size resolution, and the laptop is only a 720p display as opposed to the sort of 1080p benchmark that I was targeting for the resolution. So maybe some presets might have to be included or some scaling ideas in terms of a more final um, resolution for my project, the aspect ratio of the window. But other than that, yeah, what you see running here is some tools which I integrated into the software. So it was quite a challenge making everything work together without breaking other things. But all in all, in the time that I've started development, things have been moving quite smoothly. So far, I've integrated the most basic functionalities you'd expect from a software like this, which is, I guess I'll start with the pencil tool or the brush. So the brush or pencil tool, I've integrated into the software. The programmatically, I can set the width and height of the brush, which can very easily be integrated into the UI, which is what I'm going to do eventually, so that the user can actually select the width of the brush depending on what they want to use. And I realized that with these kind of softwares, animation software, even like Photoshop and other image editing software, the brush is really important. And I discovered that there's a lot of things I can do with the class that determines the brush in terms of the software. So with a different combination of different parameters, I can create different custom style brushes that may yield some really interesting results. So I'm quite excited in terms of the brush and what I can do with the brushes. What else did I do? Oh yeah, so I incremented frames. So frames that step chronologically. This was an interesting sort of endeavor. I had to program a clock into the software, into the program. And this is like the animation clock, as I dubbed it. And what the animation clock does is that I've set it to approximately it targets 24 frames per second. It's rounded up, so it probably runs a little bit faster, but it does target 24 frames per second, which is the industry standard for animation. So the clock runs at 24 frames per second, thereabouts. And yeah, every frame it runs right so far, it runs in a traditional sense. So you stack the frames and they are displayed on the screen as time goes. And what you may have noticed is that little white grid kind of chart, should I say, with the blue line. Now, this is a very early timeline functionality which I've developed so far, and it's a monitor to monitor the layers against the frames. So just to give a little bit of context, on the x-axis I have the frames. So the blue line right now is indicating 2. So I've actually created 2 frames. Well, actually, if I include frame 0, which is the background frame, I've actually made 3 because this is 0 index. So I've created 3 frames, 0 index at 0, sorry, and vertically, the value actually represents the layers. So right now the layer is just on 1, which means there's only 1 layer that I'm working on. But what I can actually put in some footage, or either here or in another future video dev diary, is that once you increment layers, the chart also increments in value to show that I've added another layer on top of the subsequent layer. So that's something I've implemented. Also, I've implemented colors. So what you can do with this software is to choose from a color palette and to change the color brush that you're using to create your illustrations and animations. So that's something that's been implemented as well. And I think there's another one as well. I'm not 100% sure. I've been playing a lot with opacities. So playing with opacity, especially for onion skinning, which is something I haven't actually mentioned yet. So with onion skinning, to be able to onion skin is a functionality that's still being developed right now. It should be done by the next dev diary, I estimate. I'm getting there. I'm getting quite close to it. But there were some challenges. I think the functionality that was, pointing to the respective frames that had to be onion skinned, traced, should I say, for those who are not familiar with the term onion skin, to be traced. It was pointing to like other frames, and it was getting confusing, and I just thought, okay, cool, something has to be adjusted there. So but the onion skinning functionality is underway, and it's gonna help a lot, because what I did with these animations that I was making earlier today, I had to do them straight ahead, in a straight ahead fashion, meaning that I didn't rely on key poses, breakdowns, and in-betweens, mainly because it's quicker, and also because I don't have the onion skin functionality, it just makes life a lot harder. Plus, the software only steps right now in the alpha build. That is, this will be fixed, should I say, in the later build. Is that it only stacks frames incrementally, chronologically, whereas in reality, the user is most likely gonna want to insert frames in between frames. So maybe I want to add another frame between frames 2 and 3. So I can add another frame in between 2 and 3, which becomes the middle frame there, rather than it just creating a new frame, adding to the front of the stack. So that's something that needs to be done as well. And yeah, so this is just a little quick update on the project so far. It's been going on very smoothly, been working hard at it. And yeah, feel free to drop any, comments, tips, advice, anything you want. Feedback would be great. Any constructive feedback is always welcome. And thanks very much for watching. My name is Williams Teddy Jimmer. You can find a little bit more info about what I do with my software on in my bio profile. And have a great day, guys. Bye bye.